members of the OG Army. Get those wallets unfolded. Coming up next on the OtherGround live stage, prepare for an eargasm by Passive J and Big Dalton.
Well, good afternoon, and welcome to yet another edition of OtherGround Live. I'm Passive J. That's Big Dalton over there. How you doing, Ryan?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is July the 2nd. It is Thursday, but for many of us, it is a Friday. So things are going, well, quite well. How are you doing, Jay?
Oh, awesome. I had a fantastic day. Everything was awesome. From my workout in the morning where I thought I might have tweaked my back, but it turns out I'm probably going to be just fine. But it was a great workout. No stomach issues at all. To having a great day at work. They even had a lunch that I could have today. So it was fucking fantastic, dude. How was your day?
Well, today I didn't even have to use my AK. You could say that today was a good day.
Well, I do see the OG Army's forming up in the chat box. How you guys doing? Always glad to see you here. We're going to have a hell of a show. I've got a couple topics, which is way better than my average lately, but I'm sure Big Dalton over there has things to say as well.
Well, yeah, let's go ahead and start just kind of topically here. So Texas has come out and is requiring masks virtually any time that you are outside. So basically, anytime you're within 6 feet of anyone or in a place where you could be within 6 feet of anyone, you are now required to wear a mask. How do you think that's going to go over in Texas?
Well, you know, there's two schools of thought. Obviously, there's the I'm a Texan, you can't tell me to do shit. I'll have to go get my gun. Oh, I'm sorry, I already have it on me. But on the other hand, how many fucking cowboys don't want to wear a bandana around their face and ride around going, woohoo, I'm a cowboy, and waving their hats and shit? So I don't know. It might go either way, really.
Yeah, I'm still completely I am flabbergasted that so many people find it so ridiculously, hard to wear a fucking mask. Like, we've all been conditioned to, like, if you're going out in public and you're going to go into stores or be around people, that you should wear pants. Why is wearing a mask that much more difficult?
I don't know. Well, for some people, it's annoying. I will tell you, wearing a mask for 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day fucking sucks. But it's part of my job now, so I have to do it. And the wearing the mask outside thing, okay, I guess they're saying you don't have to wear it all the time, just when you think you're going to come within 6 feet of other people. So that makes sense because the virus doesn't care if you're inside or outside as far as whether you're going to get it or not.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, the order is pretty much, hey, have a mask with you. If you're going to be interacting with people, put the fucking thing on.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. But Americans are not reasonable people, so I'm sure that's going to go over fantastic in Texas. So any blowback on it yet?
Nothing I've heard of so far. I just kind of saw it pop up, so it was a today thing. So I'm sure, we'll probably, hear something, tomorrow, where some completely redneck motherfucker was out, looking for some natty ice and some pork rinds and was told he had to wear a mask, so decided to pull a gun.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's not be unfair. That's going to be all kinds of people and from all walks of life. I've seen it are happening over and over. It doesn't matter what kind of person you are or where you're from. There's plenty of people just being stupid about the mask thing.
Exactly. Yeah, there's just a lot of fucking stupid people, and yes, it's across many demographics, and especially in a state like Texas that takes their personal freedom, very seriously. Even if it has to do with, keeping your fellow human as healthy as possible, sure, there's going to be some pushback.
Well, hold on a second. I'm trying to de-dog myself without ripping out cords and shit like that. Go on, little dog. Fuck your mom. And of course, as much as people like to pretend otherwise, most people don't give a shit about anyone else but themselves. And maybe they're like close friends and family. So it doesn't surprise me at all that most people don't give a shit about other people getting sick. And then you throw in the people that don't believe it's fucking a big deal which ranges from people that believe it's actually there, but it's not as severe as people think it is, to one dude on my Facebook that flat up thinks it's a fucking hoax, which amazed me. Luckily, this was not a Facebook friend. It was one of my friend's little brother. And since I do the show, I have some of my shit set on public, so he can comment on some of my posts, which he did so. And I was amazed. And someone said, "Dude, it's fucking 500,000 people have died. Hoax! Get the fuck out of here with that." And his response was, "Dude, fake death certificates, bro." So he honestly thinks that somehow or another they managed to fake 500,000 death certificates.
Direct him to me. Have him tell me my cousin wasn't a real fucking person. I'll throw his goddamn head through a wall.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. I mean, and dude, and I think didn't we speak about this guy before? He's a fucking drug addict and all this shit. So I'm parts of me feel sorry for him because obviously his brain is fucking mush. No rational person would think like that. So it's not something to be angry about, really. It's something more pity than anything else. But still, that is really fucking just fucked up.
Yeah, fucking people like that. Yeah, they should just kind of find their way outside of society. Sure, eventually that's going to happen anyway. When he can't get a job and decides to try to, knock over a 7-Eleven, ends up in prison. Can't take it there, ends up being somebody's bitch, and that'll probably be his life.
Yeah, and it's sad because I remember this kid when he was like 12 and 13 and 14 years old. This was back when I was like 17, 18, 19, ranged like 20. I knew his brother, but still do kind of, Facebook know him. And he was a good kid. He liked Jimi Hendrix. Yeah. I used to sit and chat with him while I was waiting for his brother to get ready and shit like that. So in certain ways, I just feel fucking horrible about it because there was no reason for him to end up like this. At one point in his life, after I parted ways with him, obviously, something fucked up happens. I don't know if it was just a poor decision or something traumatic that turned him to drugs. Because, there's all kinds of reasons people will end up doing really fucked up hardcore drugs. It's not always just because they thought it was cool. Yeah, and sometimes it is. So I part of me just feels real bad about it because you don't like to see anybody end up like that, much less someone that you kind of knew and shit.
Well, I mean, in the immortal words of one Mr. Garrison, drugs are bad. And that's that's Mr. Mackey, not Mr. Garrison.
Mr. Mackey, yeah.
Drugs are bad.
Okay. You shouldn't do drugs. Okay. Yeah, drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs. Okay. Shit, dude. What else you got, man? Sorry, I took that on a tangent.
Hey, that's what we're here for. Update to another thing that we had been talking about on and off. So it absolutely seems like Jimmy Kimmel is not being canceled. It's actually come out and been announced that he will be hosting the Emmys.
Oh my. So apparently that apology was really, really good.
So which one is the Emmys? Like, I'm not a award person. Is this TV and movies or music or?
No, Emmys is just TV.
Just TV. Okay.
Just TV. Yeah.
It's the Oscars are movies.
Yep.
And the Grammys are music.
There you go. You got that right, man.
Holy
I know
shit.
This, my mom. I know this because my mom used to love fucking award shows. That was like her favorite thing in the world. She loved. I think the Emmys were by far her favorite because she watched a ton of TV. She was a housewife. And then the Grammys after that, and then the Oscars were her least favorite because she didn't go out to the movies, so they were always awarding movies that she hadn't seen yet. But even in later years, when she didn't have any knowledge of new music, she still liked the Grammys the best. I'm sorry, yeah, I think she actually did like that better than the Emmys. She just loved watching the music shows.
Yeah, I never was an awards show person. I guess like maybe growing up as a kid, I think I used to watch like the MTV Awards. I think that was more kind of targeted to like the, like kid/teenager kind of market. But I never got into any other real award shows. Were those your thing, Jay?
I didn't give a shit about the Emmys or the Oscars because I didn't really watch TV and I certainly didn't go to movies. I didn't have the money for that kind of shit. But I like the Grammys as well because I enjoy music even if it's not something I'm into. And they always had a lot of live performances and things like that. And there was always the slim chance in hell that maybe a band that you knew like it was actually going to be on there and liked. So that was always a fun thing growing up because I've always liked music. it always cracks me up when people say, "Oh yeah, I'm really into music." I'm like, "Well, yeah, kind of everybody is, dude. That's the thing. If you know someone that doesn't like music at all, they're probably a fucking psychopath."
Well, like if you've ever gone to like any stupid like work training or anything like that, or any sort of like group thing, they'll always do the whole like, well, introduce yourself and give, a fun fact about yourself, blah, blah, blah. You always know the most boring, mundane, idiotic people that are like, hey, my name's Dave and I enjoy music.
Yeah, it's even more fun when they got to get more specific. It's like, oh yeah, I'm really into like folk music, or or whatever their thing is. Because yeah, it's ridiculous. Everyone likes music. And the next favorite thing I always hear from people is, oh, I like all kinds of music. When really they really like one kind of music with like maybe a dozen songs from other kinds of music.
I don't know.
Like, oh, I'm into all kinds of things.
I'm close to that, except it has like kind of a little bit of a caveat. It's like most kinds of music, can't fucking stand country. Classical can suck a dick. Not a big fan of jazz. And we're definitely not going bluegrass in this household.
Well, I can actually appreciate a couple of that things. But that's none of that shit's on my fucking playlist. Obviously, my playlist is all metal, rock and roll, and with a smattering of rap and then other weird shit. When I say I like rap music, I probably like less than 50 rap songs total, or less than 100 rap songs total, which sounds like a lot, but considering there's millions and millions of rap songs I've been exposed to, it's pretty small percentage. It's something about it's got to catch me. And it's things do randomly. Like I really like that Macklemore song "Thrift Shop," but I haven't liked a single other fucking thing I've heard from him. So sometimes it's just whatever their catchy radio thing is catches my interest.
Yeah, Macklemore is fucking terrible. That's pretty much like you coming out and saying, hey, yeah, that Godsmack song that sounded like the rest of the Godsmack songs, I really liked that one in particular. Or it's
really?
like, or it's like the best of Nickelback is the greatest album ever.
It's funny. People love dogging a Nickelback. Dude, they sold a shitload of records. Somebody's fucking lying about that shit.
Well, yeah, the Pet Rock made $1 million. People are stupid.
Right. But the numbers say that some of these people dogging a Nickelback now are fucking lying their ass off because they sold too many records for nobody to like them now. Some people are fucking lying. I heard 2 or 3 of the songs that weren't horrible, but they're very generic, radio rock. For the most part, as I mentioned, it's mostly rock and roll and metal. I was influenced by my mid to late teens when I started hanging out with cool friends, and that's what they listened to. So I, got into it. Before that, shit, I liked radio rock. I remember being 7, 8, 9, 10 years old listening to Michael Jackson. The Thriller album was the most amazing thing ever put out.
The video for Thriller was fucking great.
Yeah, he changed fucking music videos quite a bit. Doing that, it made it a lot more theatrical and told a story as opposed to just random fucking guys playing their instruments while hot chicks danced around with a smoke machine.
He was like the king of fucking music videos for like a good decade there.
Yeah, he put out some good ones. Like Billie Jean was a fucking badass music video when he's doing his little dance on the light up tiles on the fake road and shit. It was pretty fucking cool. And obviously Thriller with all the fucking horror and zombie things. And do you know the reason? If you remember the video at the beginning of it, they play a scene where Michael Jackson turns into a werewolf as like a part of a movie that they're watching.
Yeah, I don't remember the particulars.
Okay, but the only reason that's in the music video is because Michael Jackson wanted to turn into a werewolf. It has nothing to do with the actual video, the plot, or all the choreography, or the entire image for the video. Michael Jackson just wanted to be a werewolf, so they put that scene in.
Well, I mean, if you're Michael Jackson at that point in time, that's something that you can ask for.
Oh yeah. And God, he ended up with such a crazy amount of money. I know he had money issues near the end. That he just basically bought whatever the fuck he wanted. He didn't even pay attention to the prices and things like that. I've read stories about him just going around buying shit. He goes, he'd buy it and he'd never fucking see it again. He'd have it shipped to his Neverland Ranch, and I guess he just had rooms and rooms and rooms full of shit. This is how crazy uh, his buying became at one point. Someone was interviewing Michael Jackson and asked him if the rumor that he had bought the Elephant Man's bones was true, and he said, "I don't know. Did I? I, I'll have to look into that." That's how fucking crazy his buying was. He couldn't even tell you if he had bought it or not.
Well, that's the thing with him, though. So, like, that is an interesting case study of someone that never has had any appreciation for what money really is. Because, I mean, he was famous at, like, what, like the age of 5?
Yeah. It has to be around that. Yes, somewhere between 5 and 10 at the oldest. And he just got more and more famous.
Yeah, and then he was never not famous. So it was one of those things like, yeah, money was never even a concept.
Yeah, I know his dad stole a lot of money from them as a family, but eventually he outgrew that, obviously. So, and I assume that's like that with quite a few of the childhood stars. Although his is probably one of the most extreme cases because most childhood stars do not go on to have successful adult careers. So whatever money they were making as their children, even if it was a ridiculous amount, probably doesn't last their entire lifetime. So they at least begin to appreciate money at a later point. Normally, when they're around 18 or 19 and they can't get any fucking work because they outgrew how cute they were and they were never that great of an actor or singer or whatever their field was. So now their time is done and they're 20 years old, 19 years old. They've probably got like $500,000 in the bank. And all of a sudden they have to really appreciate what money is because they don't got a lot of it left.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Reality generally smacks someone straight in the fucking face. And then you have the outliers like Michael Jackson. Then it's just reality isn't real.
Right. The only real case I can think of that comparable to him would be the Olsen twins, because they parlayed their childhood career into some sort of ridiculous merchandise line that, for some reason, like the tweens or they sold a shitload of something. I don't even know what the fuck they made really. But they were like, I think they were like billionaires or some shit like that by the age of 18 or 20 or a really young point. So they're one of the few people that have also probably don't really have a real good grasp of money. So they probably do crazy things, but they're never in the news anymore. They decided that they just wanted to make money and get out of that shit at some point.
Well, I think they probably did it right. Like they were like in front of the media from being what goddamn near toddlers on Full House through like their crazy teen phase where they were like drug addicts and looking all strung out. But I think most of their wealth is coming from like not technically being famous anymore.
Right. It's businesses that they started because they were famous, that they were, able to start because they were famous, and now it just produces ridiculous amount of money regardless of what they do because they're real businesses at this point.
Right.
Yeah, and I know that they're not interested in the fame thing anymore because they passed up on chances to be in that sequel to Fuller House, really original name, guys. That Netflix did with like the adults and their kids now, the kids are now adults and they have their own kids and all that good shit, and the old people show up from time to time in the show. They had zero interest in doing that. They couldn't get them on a single episode right up to the series finale, which I think they did 2 seasons then called it done.
Well, like how would that one have even worked? Like, do you bring them both in and be like, hey, we were actually 2 different people?
No, I would assume you just
like they just take turns
do it, or
like
yeah, either that. Yeah. Well, I think maybe they're hoping that at least one of them was interested. maybe they approached him separately, or it's like, yeah, are you interested in this? You were always the better of the 2 baby actors, I guess. No, okay, we're gonna ask your sister now.
Well, interesting thing, right? Is like, so their sister ended up being the super famous one.
Yeah, exactly. Which must have been weird for her because she grew up obviously in their shadow. With I assume most people probably thought she was never going to come to nothing. For her to actually outperform them in certain ways, she probably doesn't have as much money as they do. Obviously,
I don't know. She's been in multiple Marvel movies, so
yeah, but those only pay so much. Unless you're Robert Downey Jr., even the big people are only making 5, 10, or 15, maybe 20 million tops for a movie. And the Olsen twins have way more money than that.
Well, so she's getting that. She's getting all the residuals from it. And like you can't go anywhere without seeing a Marvel movie playing somewhere.
Yeah.
She's got that. She's been in other movies. I think she's been in some other relatively large movies. I just don't really know. It's not really an actress I follow or anything. But yeah, she seems to be doing pretty goddamn well.
Oh yeah, definitely. She's not hurting at all, and she's going to be obviously super rich at some point. It's just I don't think there's any I think only like the top 2 or 3% of actors in the world would be making Olsen twin money. They really did parlay that into like $1 billion empire, if not more than that at some point. I would, and I could be vastly overestimating this. I probably should do a Google search before I talk any more shit.
Yeah, or we can just move on.
That's no fun.
Yeah, I really, really don't care about the Olsen twins.
Oh, now you got me. Okay, it's only a Google search. Give me half a second here, man.
God damn it, Jay.
Okay, as of 2020, they're worth about $250 million each. So I was overestimating it quite a bit, but because it's their company that's worth all that money, not their personal stake in it. So that's still a shitload of money. But you're right. In the long run, their sister might end up with more money than them.
Yeah. So yay, Olsen, 3 sisters.
I hope they don't have any more siblings, because that's a lot to live down at the fucking family reunion, you know?
Well, I mean, they have the brother.
Oh, they do? Shit.
Yeah, Dennis Olsen. Yeah, he's a piece of shit, and he ended up being like a firefighter. Nobody actually cares.
Oh, that's gotta suck. I mean, normally being a firefighter would make you the star of the fucking family, you know? Poor guy, no one pays any attention to him on Christmas. They're all watching movies and wearing Olsen twin products, and he's there trying to tell a story about how he put out a fire, and no one gives a shit. It's poor guy.
Exactly. Like Thanksgiving dinner, he talks about like saving a woman and her children. The family's just like, well, yeah, but your sister's the Scarlet Witch. Shut the fuck up.
And she does have that new shit coming out, WandaVision, which is supposed to come out on Disney Plus at some point, which is going to be a show about her and Vision. But it looks like it's a weird, fucked up show. They haven't described how it's going to work at all, but it just keeps on showing scenes of her and Vision in like different TV shows almost. Like there's a scene where they look like they're in something from Full House or excuse me, Family Ties. Then another one when they're in a black and white thing. It looks like Ozzy and Harriet or some shit. And it makes zero sense at all considering Vision's dead. But the Scarlet Witch, they haven't really, nerd stuff coming. They haven't really explored this too much in the Marvel movies, but she's actually super duper powerful and has reality warping abilities. So what the scuttlebutt on the internet is that she actually loses her shit a little bit and causes all these crazy reality shit.
Yeah, blah blah, Wanda, Scarlet Witch, House of M, end of fucking mutants, blah blah blah, more nerd shit.
I haven't paid any attention to that shit. Supposedly there's new stuff going on with the X-Men, and like you said, I've heard those phrases, yeah, House of M, this and that and the other. I don't read comics anymore. I haven't read comics since like the late 80s, early 90s. So all of my knowledge comes from the internet and watching the movies. But that's just what the internet told me anyways.
Fair enough, Jay.
What else do you got, sir?
So here's kind of it's not necessarily the most interesting story, but it's kind of an interesting story. Did you hear about this Philadelphia man and his brother that ended up drowning in a river?
No, that's not normally much of a news story. What makes this one different?
Well, this one's only interesting because of the name of the river.
Oh, I think I have seen this. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, they drowned in Murder Kill River.
Like that's very, very.
Yeah, I don't know if I could find myself saying, "Hey, let's go swim in the beautiful waters of Murder Kill."
God, I'm assuming there's a story behind that name. Did you have a chance to dig into that any?
No, I didn't come up with the historical significance of Murder Kill River.
Oh, well, that was my first thing. I mean, obviously some shit went down. What else would you call it Murder Kill River unless people were murdering and killing in there? You know, why?
Maybe it was just some poor guy's name. Back in the days, old Winston Murder Kill had a great farming plot right up against the river, and eventually they decided to, christen that river with his family name.
Well, it turns out that's not what happened. Apparently, it's the Murder Kill River is taken from the original Dutch for Mother River. 'Ca- Later, under British rule, the word river was added to the waterway's name, effectively making it Mother River River. So, Murder Kill is actually Dutch for Mother River.
Well, that mother rivering son of a bitch.
Yeah, okay, that's a lot less entertaining than what I was hoping for. I'm bummed out that I googled it. Sometimes the mystery is better. I had images of smugglers killing people as they discovered them while they were smuggling whatever it was across the river. It happened so often that they decided to call it the Murder Kill River.
Yeah, those
But apparently
crazy
not.
bastards trying to smuggle the river across the river.
Now that was the British. That was the British just not giving a fuck what the word meant. Yeah. There's like, oh, well, you need a river at the end of this because there's clearly a river. Because when they came upon it, it was just called Murder Kill, which is actually kind of cooler. What's that? Oh, that's Murder Kill. Oh, well, that's the Murder Kill River. Well, no, sir. Murder Kill means it's Murder Kill River. Moving on.
So what happens if you had
That's-
like a sociopathic kid at that time, and they're going to go out to play, and they're like, "Mom, Dad, I'm going down to Murder Kill." Like, do you think they're going to the river, or do you think that they
Have
really
fun.
are sociopathic?
Have fun. Don't drown. Don't drown anybody. Okay, I'll have to stab them. Yeah. It cracks me up that to hear that the British did that, because that is such a British thing to do when you think about it. The British back then were so arrogant and snooty concerning anybody else in the entire world. Because back then the British ran the fucking world. They truly did. I mean, more than anybody else at the time. So they often didn't pay any attention to fucking what the natives said about shit or anything like that. They're like, it's this now. That's that now. Okay, we own this. Yes. Moving on.
Yes, moving on.
Moving on.
So here comes something that I don't think I would trust, but did you hear Japan is debuting a new bullet train that supposedly can keep running and in service during an earthquake?
Huh. Well, they do have crazy train technology over there. I know, don't they have trains that routinely go over 200 miles an hour, I think?
Well, this one says it can run up to 360 kilometers an hour. I'm not doing that math.
That's probably somewhere between 200 and 250 miles an hour, which is super duper fucking fast for a train. Yeah, I guess it's because they're not really a really big country that they can get, but they make a shitload of money for how small they are, that they can spend ludicrous amounts of money developing and putting in this train technology. It's obviously not feasible nationwide for America. Just because, well, I mean, yes, no, anything's feasible if you want to throw enough money at it, but no one's bothered to do it because the initial cost would be ridiculous.
But still, I don't know if I trust the entire billing of, hey, during an earthquake, you'll be fine on this thing. I don't know if I want to be hurling 200 miles an hour down a track with an earthquake going on.
Well, you have to remember, it's not like they're going to go, oh, there's an earthquake coming on at 5. Okay, we're going to shut down this train, Oh, but that train can keep going. They don't know what's coming. So your risk of being in an earthquake on a train is the same regardless of what type of train you're on.
Yeah, but I think I'd want my train to stop.
I'm assuming I'm assuming they'll stop. They're saying they won't even bother to stop. Okay, now that is crazy talk.
Hey, it's just saying that it's earthquake proof. So
yeah.
I guess we'll find out for the first earthquake during the bullet train season of Japan. Taking it back to our neck of the woods, though, did you take your chance to go loot a bunch of Amazon shit?
Oh, I heard. No. Although I did hear about this. Go ahead, sir. It's pretty funny, actually.
So the Amazon driver that just completely got just sick of their shit and just abandoned his truck in the middle of the day at a gas station.
Yep, left the keys in it and walked off.
Yeah, and posted on social media as far as where it was. Now, this is the most un-Detroit thing ever, but then he went back later and locked it up and waited for somebody from Amazon to come take care of the thing. and it doesn't
Oh,
appear anything was actually looted.
okay, I didn't hear the part where he came back and eventually waited for someone to show up and take the vehicle, because I saw this earlier and it irked me as fuck because some people are posting on social media. Most of the people are like, "Dude, don't be a child. Take if you want to quit, that's fine, but don't just walk out and leave that shit there. That's childish. Be a man." But some people are actually saying that it was good. One person posted, "Oh yeah, I like that. It shows initiative that he was done with something. He was just done with it. I'd hire this guy." And it was like a 16-year-old or some shit posting that shit. So yeah, I wouldn't be cool with that at all, man. You can't just leave that shit there, dude. I've quit many a job. Well, okay, I've quit maybe 4 or 5 jobs. But I'd never just leave someone fucking hanging out. At the very worst, the worst I ever did is quit halfway through a shift and said, "Hey, man, this is not for me." And the response I got was, "Oh, well, most people don't even make it to lunch, so I appreciate that."
That's just it. If nothing else, this does completely make sense for where it was, though. This is like the most Michigan, Detroit thing ever to do. Just to be absolutely mid-shift and be like, fuck it, I quit. I'm not going to actually tell the company or like take the truck back. I'm just going to drop it off on this, at this gas station and then make a Twitter post about it.
And some of the things he said was, that he'd been working a lot of hours and and now that it was getting hot, he didn't want to do the job anymore.
Well, I mean, apparently
focus on his studies.
Well, apparently working for Amazon, like either as a driver in their warehouses, is like one of the worst fucking jobs ever. So I can completely understand like why it would drain him and like he wants to get the fuck out. Like that's not a surprise at all. But it's like deciding in the middle of the fucking day just to post it on Twitter and just abandon the truck, like that's a little overkill.
Right. And I'm going to be hypocritical here because, as we all know, I love to complain. But I saw one person posting on Facebook the other day complaining about, fucking forced overtime on Saturdays and Sundays. It's hot as fucking there. Then I read down later in the Facebook posts and someone called her out on it, and they said, "Well, oh, I thought you had to sign up for that." And she posted, "Yeah, I didn't have anything better to do." So I was like, "Wait a minute, dude! You're complaining about shit that you signed up for? Fucking, a lot of people would love to have overtime. I take every little bit of overtime I can get. That's the only way to get ahead in the world, man. Overtime money is fucking awesome."
Yeah, but so I could see where, yes, you might have to sign up for it, but I think it might be one of those kind of like voluntold type of things based on the absolute shitty conditions that like their warehouses are.
Right. And I guess I should make a distinction. This person doesn't work in an Amazon warehouse. So they work at a I don't know exactly what they make, but it's what's considered a tier 2 automotive supplier company. So like, there's the auto companies that obviously they make a lot of their shit, but they also hire out other companies to make lots of parts for them as well. And this place, I believe they make axles for like several different auto companies. So now that the auto companies are back to work and behind and everything, all these tier 2 places are working ridiculous amounts of overtime to get them back up to speed, and that's where she works at, which is not a bad job, by the way. It's a union job, so you're fairly secure and you got good benefits, and your pay is going to go up and all that good stuff. On the other hand, it's a factory job, which I will admit does suck ass. They don't. Most factories don't have shit like air conditioning and things like that.
Well, and the fact that you're just sitting there for fucking 8 or 10 hours a day doing the exact same repetitive thing like 18,000 times. Yeah, I'm good on that.
Yeah. Now, I don't know about in all places, but I do know that in some places they will shift you around occasionally. When I worked at an electrocoating plant briefly, which is kind of which is basically considered a tier 2 thing. They were painting auto parts for different car companies. I got moved around from place to place as they needed me.
Yeah, that still doesn't necessarily make it that much better. It's going from one super repetitive thing to another super repetitive thing.
No, but that's work for a lot of the country. There's a ton of factory jobs, there's tons of line workers. most people's jobs are pretty repetitive when it comes right down to it,
Well,
at least
yeah,
on the
I'm
lower
not.
levels.
Well, we need to get manufacturing back. Like, we need to have those people that have like a very, I don't want to call it uneducated, but it really is a job for people like without an education that can walk in, make a good living, have a fucking trade. Like, those things are something we should have. The problem is when we decided to, forego a true kind of free market and have this propped up system of publicly traded companies. Like, yeah, companies now want to place profit above everything to make sure that they make their shareholders happy. So things like manufacturing, not so much a thing anymore.
Yeah, not at all. And you see that here in Detroit. Hold on a second.
That's one of the biggest problems with Detroit is it was the booming place with all the manufacturing. And, well, another thing is like people can argue for and against unions. There are times that they've kind of shot themselves in the foot with how much, power they hold. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things as far as like the downfall of Detroit was, hey, we can do this shit cheaper and we don't really care about people. People are an expense, so fuck it.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, because of all these other companies that supply the auto industry, there was a ripple effect. Not as severe because sometimes the auto companies buy the parts from them and then ship them to overseas to the plants where they're making them. But it did have effect on all these other companies as well. And in addition to that, it had a huge effect on just like the neighborhood industries, like all the mom and pop diners and bars and things like that supported these people living and working in the area. Now, without the jobs there, the people don't live there anymore, and the ones that left don't have shit for money. So all of these other businesses, like everything from restaurants to bars to dry cleaners to mechanic stations, all these places went under because the customer base moved the fuck away.
Yeah, you see that a lot, like the unintended consequence of something like that moving. Like you'll have, like, and you'd see this in places like in the Midwest, is you'd have like say a meat processing plant that ends up getting shut down because they had a bunch of illegal immigrants. Well, all of a sudden they get shut down and the entire city just crumbles because it can't maintain itself without those extra few thousand people and their incomes. It tanks everything.
Right, and sometimes all it takes is a couple thousand people not producing anymore, and for these little towns that only had like 6,000 or 7,000 in the first place, the remaining ones don't have what it takes to keep the town going. And I've seen a couple things about that. I can't remember where. I want to say it was a TV show I watched or something like that. They were talking about a town that was, of all things, I want to say like a chalk mine, something crazy, because at different times in American history, different things were rarer now than they are now. So it might have been a chalk mine or something of that nature, something that's super duper common. But at the time, they hadn't discovered it in a lot of other places. So they built a town for like 5 or 6 or 7,000 people, and it was prosperous as fuck right up until the point where they discovered like a huge load of it someplace else or some shit like that. And it went from a viable city to a fucking ghost town over the course of like 20 years. And, like you'll walk down their main street, it's got these cool brick buildings because I think this place is probably built in the 20s or 30s or 40s. That looks like the type of buildings for it. And there's boarded up building after boarded up building. It's not like graffiti and ghetto looking like Detroit because there's nobody fucking there at all. I think they said they had like 7 businesses left and like 80 people living in the town where that used to have 7,000 or some shit like that.
Yeah, that's the way it is, and that's where like this is the weird thing about our country, right? It's like we pretty much have all of these gigantic cities, and then you have like less and less of these kind of like suburban or rural areas that are propped up by something that like anymore you see less and less like self-sustaining cities of like 5,000-6,000 people.
Right. And most of the places where you see that still are mostly rural because agriculture is one of the few things that can still sustain a small city. You know, like you'll see a small town in the middle of like fucking hundreds of acres of farmland. We saw a couple things like that, and when we were driving to Nebraska, way back when we drove through what we called the cornfield treadmill. That's what it seemed like while we were driving from Detroit to Nebraska, because it was just corn, 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 corn. Oh, look, a tree. Corn, 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 corn. Oh, what's that smell? Corn, corn, corn. Fucking, it was pretty repetitive. And every once in a great while, you'd see like a small town, and maybe even not even 5,000, maybe like 2 or 3,000 or some shit like that. Just, but the agriculture was able to support something like that, but certainly nothing bigger.
Yeah, exactly. It's just it's interesting anymore, like how that works, and how many of these like smaller areas just become less and less of what they used to be.
Yeah, and it's a shame because that's a big part of American culture and history way back in the day. Just another way that America's changed over the years. Oh, I got a little dog coming into my lap. Come here, dude. Come here. Don't give me that look. Oh, come here. She is so pitiful. All right, simmer down.
You good? You
All
set?
right, you got anything else there?
Yeah,
Yes,
this one.
I'm set. Cool.
This one should actually probably interest you. There's going to be an Amazon series coming out, and they have grabbed the creators of the HBO show Westworld to run the show.
Mm-hmm.
They are creating a Fallout show.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yep. Based on the video game franchise, so it'll follow like a post-nuclear like United States.
Wow. I've never seen Westworld. I don't know if it's good or not. I think I remember hearing the first season was good, the second season not so much. I'm excited, dude. That's fucking awesome. Post-apocalyptic. Hey, I said it. Wasteland sort of scenarios are my thing. That's right up there with zombies, and zombies are played the fuck out. So I'm really excited to see this. For the most part, one of the few things I didn't like about Fallout was how, I don't know, it was from such a different they launched from regular world to post-apocalyptic world. They didn't use like the United States. They used like the United States from the 50s, but it wasn't the 50s. It was the 90s, but everything was still 50-ish. If you understand what I'm saying. And I never was a huge fan of that. I'd always wished that it was just regular, United States, then post-apocalyptic after that. So that part might be a little meh, but I'm really looking forward to it. Did you ever play any of the series?
A little off and on. I never really got into it much. I think I played a little bit of what was it, like Fallout. I think it was like 3, and then a little bit of 4. Like I know Preston Garvey's a piece of shit. About as far as I go.
Yeah. Okay, so you are familiar with it as far as that goes. So you know what I meant when I said it was like kind of like 50-ish post-apocalyptic kind of weird stuff.
Right.
Right. But that'll be really interesting. And Amazon's had a pretty good track record with their shows lately, so that's a good thing too. It's not like they're going to try to do it on the CW or something like that. I'm still now, once again, since I mentioned Amazon, I have to tell you to go watch The Boys again, because I know you haven't fucking done that shit.
Yeah, I'm still not going to.
Oh, okay. See, here's why I don't want you on my lap. Okay, there you go, dummy. God, she gets all tangled up with my headphone cord while she's in my lap. Then she tries to go leaping off, and fucking have to grab her to avert disaster.
Goddamn, Jay.
Oh, did I lose you?
No, I was audibly shaking my head, and apparently it didn't come through.
No, apparently not. Hey, if my dog wants in my lap, how can I tell her no? That's what my lap is for, God damn it, right? If I didn't want a dog in my lap, I shouldn't have got a dog. And I have something to fucking talk about. I don't care what you want to talk about next. I got to get this out, and then we can go back to if you have anything else left. Remember when I was telling you what a piece of shit friend I had that let her little chihuahua get her new little male chihuahua get her really old fucking female chihuahua pregnant?
Dog died? Is that the story?
Almost.
Oh.
Yeah, almost. It went horribly. They had to do, what do you call it when they cut it out? C-section? And I can't remember what it stands for, a C-section, and that didn't go well. And there's a third malformed one up in there, and one of the dogs all fucked up. And basically, before they even start paying for the dog the dog that is all fucked up but survived, they have a fucking $7,000 bill because of how horribly fucking wrong it went. So of course they're gonna dig into their savings and pay that vet bill off. No, they're fucking not. They started a GoFundMe for it. God, that pisses me off,
Of
dude.
course they did.
Of course they did. They endangered their fucking dog recklessly. They knew better. They're not kids. These are people in their fucking 40s. And yet they got their fucking ancient Chihuahua pregnant within 3 months of getting a new Chihuahua. God, that just makes me so mad. I'm not the most responsible person in the world. I'll be the first to admit that. But I love my animals, and there's no way I would let that shit go down.
No, that's super fucked up. Like, those people should not be having animals anymore. Like, that should absolutely be a thing.
Yeah, exactly. No, and of course it's not. Unless you're actually abusing them, people are allowed to be stupid with their pets as much as they want.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, things like that, there should be something out there where, like, some people just are not able to have animals anymore because it's very apparent, like, they're just not responsible enough for it. I would say the same thing about kids, right? Like, there's certain people that, like, we should probably just go ahead and sterilize because, they're just not exactly what we need to have out there as anyone that's influencing another life, human or not.
Right. Oh, there's a slippery slope that we're not going to get into today. You got anything else before we get into my stupid shit?
No, I think me carrying the first 3/4 of this podcast is enough. My shoulders are feeling a little worn out. Might need to, hop in a inflatable hot tub later to work out some of the kinks. What's up, Jay?
You are more than welcome. Well, you're more than welcome to save some of your shit for the next day if you feel like you're going too much. Well, let's see what else. What do I have today? Michigan closed indoor bar service today, which is a fabulous thing, huh?
Yeah, well, it's kind of along the same lines with what most of these states are doing, right? So, like, if nothing else, Michigan has done a pretty good job overall as far as what they're doing. So if they make that call, it might be the right call. And just seeing the states that went just like balls to the wall, we're going to open everything. Like, you're seeing what's happening now. Like, we started off the show with the whole Texas thing. And there's going to be other states that are kind of falling into the same deal. It's just, like, if you don't learn from the people that did this well at the beginning, you're kind of dooming yourself here.
Right. And as much as I hate it, she's probably making the right decision because all of the infections of around. We talked about this yesterday, didn't we? I feel like we did.
Yeah, we kind of did. It's just an ongoing topic, right? Like, this is what is happening in the country right now. We have this pandemic that a lot of people, having been locked down, just don't want to go back to that. And that's totally understandable. Like, nobody wants to be stuck in their fucking house. And people take that to an extreme. Well, they're just like the drug infested idiot you were talking about is like, no, it's fake, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's definitely not. But, like, goddamn, by completely just going from lockdown to buck wild, like, in one day, like, you can't do that. Like, you're just asking yourself to repeat what got us into this mess.
Right. And now fucking everyone at work is terrified because right now the no bar service is fine. Nobody, and only outdoor bar service, because no one's eating inside and we don't even have our grill room bar area open. So, I mean, you can get drinks and shit, but it's a different thing. But she's talking about if the being concerned with the rate, and if it goes the way it's been going, if in the next couple of days, she'll close all the restaurants again, and then we're basically fucking closed. It'll be a really different thing. I'm not even sure if me and my wife will have jobs at that point. The golf course will probably stay open, but is it going to be enough to can we keep the clubhouse open and we won't be able to have dining? Is just me answering the phone? Could we have carryouts? I guess I'll be there all day for that. I don't know. There's lots of questions and very few answers, and it changes fucking every day. So there's really no way to plan for it.
There's not, and like it would be a shame if that shit happened. Like if we have to go back into that, like we're in a position now where like all of the protections for everything that was going on are just ending right now. So like, if you have another wave of having to shut shit down and tanking the economy, like there's no protection there. And sadly, and I don't want to go on a political tangent, but like the Senate is showing zero initiative to try to like safeguard against any of this shit, knowing that a third of people can't pay their mortgage or rent right now and have missed at least a month. Like we're not in a good place, and like we can't take another downturn.
No, it's horrible. And I know tons of people that are like in bad financial straits right now. All kinds of ones that are like being put on part time, so they because of this half-ass opening, and I understand why it's done that way. But in certain cases, people are working part time because they've been called back to work, so they can't really file unemployment, or if they can, it's a weird thing. Like if I got laid off right now, I don't even know how good to go about filing for unemployment again. Technically, my shit's expired. Um, so one hopes that we can at least stay open in the limited regard that we are now. Oh, let's see what else I got today. Oh yeah, I can't believe we haven't talked about this. Did you see about the man in Oklahoma who shot some chick that was trying to steal a Nazi flag off his porch?
Yeah, I saw that one. So I mean, there's a few things to unpack there. Like, yes, technically you have the right to do crazy shit, like have hate messaging and shit like that in your yard and on your house and everything else. Like that is a personal choice that you can make. The government can't do anything about it because that is your First Amendment right. The issue I come up with, and this is why this guy got arrested, is you have someone essentially committing a property damage crime that he goes out and shoots as they're running away. Like this isn't someone trying to break into the house or anything like that. Like he kind of overstepped the legal bound there. Theft isn't something that carries a possible death sentence. So I don't necessarily agree with that. I also don't agree with her going onto his property, and as disgusting as that flag is, like you don't have the right to go on someone's property and steal and burn that shit. Like that's not a thing you can do. So I see two people in the wrong. Right. Like if he wanted to come out and like yell at her and tell her to get off the property and shit like that, call the police if you have to. Like those are the right things to do. Like shooting somebody as they're leaving your property, having not tried to break in and obviously posing no threat to you as a person, like you don't just get to shoot them.
No, you said it exactly right. There's two people in the wrong here. The thing is, and this is scary, apparently he had video cameras set up on the fucking flag. They found, like with a monitor with a chair, like basically he would sit in the chair and watch the fucking monitor because apparently people had stolen his flag or attempted to steal his flag before, and he got lots of shit for having Nazi flags. Big surprise there. So as far as I'm interpreting it, basically the guy was hoping for someone to come steal his flag so he could shoot them and not protect his flag. They shoot them because if he has a video monitoring system on it, he sees them fucking coming. He could have seen them walking up and ran out and with his gun and said, "You get the fuck away from my flag." He waited for her to take it and run away, and then he shot her. So basically, he wanted to shoot somebody in the fucking back.
Yeah, exactly. So this one absolutely looks terrible. This is also a guy that would go out in public dressed in all black with a swastika armband. So like this is a person that was looking for negative interactions. So again, he has all the rights in the world to go out and do that. I'm also going to say that there still is a thing in, and I'm not going to necessarily say in our society, but just like in a human world, that if you go out like that looking for negative interactions, don't be surprised when someone beats the shit out of you for wearing something like that. Yes, it's illegal for someone to attack you in that way, but like also there is the idea of like words and actions having consequence.
Right.
And this guy apparently didn't care about that, and he wanted the most negative things possible to happen.
Right, and he got it. I never understood that. You feel free to believe what you want to believe in. It might be fucking shitty, and I won't respect you for it, but keep that shit to yourself. This guy. At this point, it's not even about being about a Nazi. The guy obviously just liked fucking pissing people off. Uh, there's plenty of fucking secret Nazis out there. Just because you're in the Nazi shit, that doesn't mean you have to like hang flags on your fucking a porch and walk around in a Hitler outfit. That's less about being in the Nazis and more into being a dickhead than anything else, really. There's something wrong with the guy that he wants confrontation.
Well, yeah, and J in the chat, I had to pronounce it that way with the two A's, so not to confuse UJ. But he hit the nail on the head here. He is a real life troll. And so I'll put it out there. I absolutely respect his First Amendment right. And if he wants to put Nazi flags on his house and everything else, like, he absolutely has that right, and I will respect it. I'm not going to show him respect as a human, because you can tell this guy is a real life troll. Like, that's exactly what it is. Like, these people are like the low of the low. It's like, it's like the fact that you as a person, across from, say, a black family, you could hang a noose in your tree. And that's really not a cool thing to do. And you're a troll for doing it, but like, you also can't be punished for it.
Yeah, it's just fucked up. And he looks like a troll, too, if I'm going to be mean and petty. Fucking, I was like, man, why would you grow a mustache like that? That doesn't look good on anybody, man. Just fucking shave that shit.
Yeah, the Hitler stash, like, was that ever actually in style? Like, it's just a weird fucking look.
I don't know. Yeah, well, it was at one point. Remember Charlie Chaplin? Although he had a bushier one. I'm not sure if that'd be considered the same thing, really.
Yeah, I guess it was close. But, like, where did anyone decide, like, that's a good look? Like, it just looks weird.
Oh, God knows. God knows. Look back in time at all the fucking weird historical trends for style and shit. People wore some ridiculous shit at one point or another.
Have you seen?
Recently,
there are people. I saw some pictures about this, and this is more awesome than a fucking glorious mullet. Have you seen Circle Face?
Circle Face? I do not know what you're referring to, sir.
So what these people do is they grow a beard and they will shave it basically a perfect circle around, like, basically where the where your sideburns would go down. They will shave up through their hair and then shave the back part of their head to where it looks like there's just like a cutoff where all of a sudden all your hair starts to grow. So essentially they'll have like the bangs and everything from the front part of your hair, and it goes back until it's equal with your sideburns, and it goes down into a full beard. So it literally looks like a circle around your face of hair. It is the most like trolly, ridiculous, glorious thing in the world.
I'd have to look that up. I can't even picture that how that goes, really. At one point, I thought you were talking about something that one of the cooks at work has, where he's basically to shave like a 2-inch strip going from over his ear and then behind his ear to and then like around the back of his head. Like, he's got a normal haircut, but like with a 2-inch strip around the edge. So I don't know why. Maybe to keep sweat out of it or something. It looks weird as fuck. For all I know, he shaved it like that to make a mask fit better. But so for a minute there, I thought that's what you're talking about. But that's something entirely different. You mean?
Yeah, like, do some looking around on the internet for it. Just I don't know if it's Circle Face or Circle Head, or I don't know what you really want to search for on it. But god damn it, it is glorious. It absolutely should be the new mullet.
Okay, well, that didn't take long. Circle Face haircut. Oh, that's not it. It's got pictures of chicks and stuff. They're trying to show me what hairstyles that go with a round face. That's disappointing. Okay, I'll do some more research when we're not actually doing a show. Speaking of which, it looks like we're about done. Holy shit, that went easy. I want to thank the OG Army for showing up. I always appreciate it. I appreciate anyone who posts on the chat box, because even if you're hating on us, you still help our engagement scores. So thank you for making our show more popular. I appreciate that. You got anything there, Big Dalton?
Yeah, I got a couple things. First one, actually pretty low key, but hey, we're heading into a long weekend. Happy fucking Merca Day for anybody that's not going to be with us the next couple days here. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do, be sure to name that shit after me. And enjoy yourselves. And the second thing, as always, fuck all y'all.
Everybody have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow at 6. Bye-bye.
Screw you, hippie!